Michelin and Navarrete. Today's topic is all about deductive versus inductive method. Deductive method is a deductive approach to instruction is a more teacher-centered approach. This means that the teachers give the students a new concept, explain it, and then has the student practice using the concept. This is also called deductive instruction. Advantage of the deductive method is a coverage of wider scope subject matter because our instruction is direct by starting the rule of the principle at the beginning of the class. We cover more subject matter over a period of the time. No bother on the part of the teacher to lead learners to formulation of generation or rule. We ourselves give the generalization at the beginning of the lesson. Disadvantage of the deductive method it is not supportive of the chief principle that learning is an affected process. There is less involvement one part of the learners. The lesson appears to be interesting at first. We begin our lesson with the abstract with the what the learners do not know, so at the outset our lesson will look a little bit interesting. Deductive method. According to Bob Adamson, deductive method is often characterized because the first is it teaches grammar in an isolated way, the second is little attention is paid to meaning. This practices is often mechanical. This method can however be viable option in certain situations. For example, when dealing with highly motivated student teaching a particularly difficult concept or for preparing students to write exams. Inductive method is contrasts with deductive method. Inductive instruction makes use of student noticing. Instead of explaining and giving concept of the following this explanation with the example, the teachers present students with many examples, showing how the concept is used. The intent is for students to notice by the way of the examples how the concept works. It also called a inductive instruction. Advantage of inductive method, the learners are more engaged in teaching learning process. With our facilitating skills, the learners formulate the generation or rule. Learning becomes more interesting at the outset because we begin with the experience of our students. We begin with what they know. It helps the development of our learners' higher order thinking skills, HOTS, to see patterns and analyze the same order. To arrive at generation requires analytical thinking. The disadvantage of the inductive method is it requires more time and so less subject matter will be recovered. We need much to lead our students to the formulation of generalization. It demands expert facilitating skills on the part of the teacher. We get to ask the right question, organize the answer and comments to pave the way to the derivation of generalization. How can teachers help their students practice noticing? How can teachers help their students practice noticing? In the 1990s, researchers explored the role that noticing a grammatical construct played in learning that structure. They hypothesized the learners needed to notice a structure in order to hold in it their short or long-term memory. What is noticing? What is noticing? Noticing is the process of student becoming aware of something in particular as mentioned above in the inductive approach. When the teachers speak at a more advanced level, they are giving the student constant opportunities to notice the difference between the teacher's speech and theirs. This way, each student can be aware of difference at his own pace. Teachers can provide students with opportunities for noticing simply by putting poster up in the classroom in the target language, as before when the students are ready to notice a difference they will. Language letters are also to promote student noticing skill. Once they understand what each rank of the letter means, they can understand how they all fit together and how they differ. How can teacher decide which method is the best choice for a given topic? How can a teacher decide which method is the best choice for a given topic? Both deductive and inductive sequences are valuable for teaching concept, generalization, process, and skills. How personalized should the learning be? How personalized should the learning be? Students will usually be more involved in the learning experience and tend to participate more actively when an inductive approach is used. If a deductive approach is chosen, it's important to structure the learning experience in order to draw on students' prior experience in learning and to provide further active involvement. Should learning experiences be predictable? The deductive approach is more predictable because the teacher selects the information and the sequence of presentation. What depth on understanding and rate of retention is desired? Students tend to understand and remember more when learning a course inductively. How much time is available to teach the material? The deductive approach is faster and can be an efficient way to teach large numbers of facts and concrete concepts. That's all. Thank you. And again, my name is Richie Dayan and the Breve.